Welcome back. I'm Christine Johnson. The candidates spent a lot of time campaigning in the battleground states leading up to today. And recent CBS News polling has shown Harris and Trump neck and neck in these crucial swing states. Dick Brennan is now in our virtual studio to show us what's at stake.
Hey, thanks, Christine. And look who is joining me.
Hello.
Hello,
Jessica. We're here for the long haul.
We are. We're going to be spending much of this election night right here tracking the votes as they come in.
We'll be able to break down the critical races for you in a unique way that's immersive, interactive, and most importantly, easy to understand.
So let's get a look at just how a few of these critical battleground states, starting with Pennsylvania, work. Now, where recent polling is shown here, the candidates are neck and neck. Keep in mind, we'll see the percentages move as the votes start coming in later tonight.
Let's take a look at Georgia, where the candidates have been trying to sway voters. Vice President Harris is targeting black male voters in particular. A recent New York Times Siena poll puts Harris just slightly over Trump in Georgia, 48 to 47%.
And let's check out Wisconsin. That same poll shows Harris leading Trump 49 to 47%. The races in the battleground states are so close, it will take some time for every ballot to be counted and a winner declared.
Vice President Harris and former President Trump campaigned down to the last minute, a furious finish to a race for the ultimate political prize, and both sides hope to get out the vote.
I support Kamala Harris. I like her message.
I'm hoping and praying that Trump is going to be the new president.
But for the most part, the road to the White House goes through just 7 states, the battlegrounds: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, which have 93 electoral votes. 270 are needed to become president.
If we look at the 7 battleground states right now, tiny percentage points, all within the error margin, separate the two candidates. But they're very different from one another.
Kean University Provost David Birdsell says it wasn't always this way. Democrats had a so-called blue wall in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, where they won every election from 1992 until Trump won them in 2016. Biden won them back in 2020, and right now they would represent the best chance for Harris to win the White House, with Pennsylvania being the most crucial.
Pennsylvania is a large state by population. It is a traditional Rust Belt state. It had been a solid lock for Democrats for many, many years, but that began to break apart in the Reagan era, and now Pennsylvania is very much of a toss-up.
For his part, Trump's best path to the White House would also go through Pennsylvania, but his campaign will also be looking to the Sun Belt.
The Trump campaign believes that they're looking very solid in the Southeast, in Arizona, Georgia. If they pick up Pennsylvania, that gives Kamala Harris relatively few pathways.
Just a few thousand votes in just a few states could determine who is the next president, and each battleground could make a huge difference.
A race this close can not just break either way, but can break very large in a direction either way, because there's so many factors.
And we want to show you what you can expect later tonight from our virtual studio as those votes come in from the battleground states.
This is really cool. Check out this effect. Here is a look at the White House. We're taking you to D.C. We'll be tracking the electoral count for Harris and Trump. Votes for each state are based on the number of members of Congress who represent that state.
Now, obviously, those numbers aren't in yet, but they'll begin to fill in as the night goes on, and the winner needs 270 electoral votes to get to the presidency. We'll keep a close eye on those numbers for you from right here with Jessica.
We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, and as you said, the most important thing, people are going to learn a lot tonight.
Yeah, Christine, back to you.
More to come. From battleground states to battleground congressional districts now. And another close race is expected in New York's 1st congressional district on Long Island. That is where first-time Republican incumbent Nick LaLota faces Democratic challenger John Avlon. Now, depending on the winner, it could decide who controls the U.S. House for the next 2 years. Long Island reporter Jennifer McLogan live in Patchogue tonight, watching this race very closely for us. Jennifer.
Good evening, Christine, from Suffolk's South Shore. As you said, Patchogue, we are on Railroad Avenue, looking towards Main Street in this 1st congressional district, deemed a toss-up, filled with independent voters who could surely sway the balance of power in D.C. The territory's enormous, from the farmers and fishermen of the East End to middle-class suburbia stretching west to Huntington. The one-term incumbent Republican Nick LaLota trying to make his case for re-election. tight with Trump on the border, the economy, and crime, versus a former CNN political reporter, John Avlon of Sag Harbor, the son of Greek immigrants, with opposing messages on abortion, gun control, climate change, and health care. That has voters taking notice.
What issue is important to me? Immigration, economy,
climate change,
happiness, affordability,
the border. Issues that affect the family or affect women's bodily autonomy.
Grocery store prices and food safety.
We spent time with both candidates, each of whom firmly believes he has the pulse of Suffolk County.
I believe that the decision to have an abortion should be between a woman, her doctor, and her God.
I do not think the federal government should interfere with state abortion laws, be it affordability, be it the border and crime crises, or just delivering the bacon back home for Long Island. These are some of the things I'm focused on in Congress.
Let's turn a new page. Let's actually build something better on the other side of this toxic tribalism.
Nick LaLota went to St. Anthony's High School, then the Naval Academy, and Hofstra Law. Has been involved in Suffolk politics for many years. His wife is a school teacher. John Avlon was born in New York City, graduated Yale and Columbia, was a political commentator and strategist, and incidentally is married to a Republican, Margaret Hoover, the great-granddaughter of Herbert Hoover. Lots of drama here tonight. LaLota is painting Avlon as a carpetbagger because he also owns a home in Gramercy Park. At the same time, Avlon points to LaLota's house in Amityville, which is not part of the district. We were not invited to see him vote today. Lots of fireworks here. We're live in Patchogue. Jennifer McLogan, CBS News, New York. Christine and Dick, back to you.
And that's what has made this election season so interesting, Jennifer. Thank you.
And it just keeps going. Now, back now to the presidential race, and it's been a campaign like really we've never seen before.
The matchup wasn't even set, really, if you think about it, up until just over 100 days ago. And political reporter Marcia Kramer joins us now here in studio. You know, Marcia, deep breath here, because I think we're finally here, right? But at times, things have really felt like it's been part of like a soap opera that we've been watching.
Well, think about this. Joe Biden withdrew from the race after he had already secured the Democratic nomination, and he didn't go willingly. He had to be forced into it by Nancy Pelosi, dozens of members of his own party, and the private cajoling of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. So it's just been really a soap opera, as you said.
Now, Marcia, you know every single race for 200 years back, but so
thank you for that.
200 years.
I don't know if this is a tough no. It's what she knows.
I do remember George Washington. We had a conversation.
But I mean, this is nothing's ever been close, right? Nothing like this.
Well, look, presidential scholars actually say that there's no analogy that you could make here. Harry Truman. I can't believe I'm going to do this. Harry Truman in 1952 and Lyndon Johnson in 1968 dropped out, actually, but they did it after losing the New Hampshire primary. So other people, other candidates, you may ask me who, I actually could tell you, but I'm not going to. Other candidates could went and won the Democratic nomination that year. So this is the first time somebody had to run after not winning the Democratic nomination and having to be nominated at the convention.
All right, so what does that mean then for our current Democratic candidate?
Well, so she had 107 days. I looked it up. 107 days to run a campaign and to decide what to do, how to deal with a man who was running for president since he lost in 2020. So it's been an uphill battle for her, a difficult race for her.
And she's raised a lot of money.
She has.
And I guess it's really hard to figure out whether or not did he run, she won't run, that whole thing. I guess we're going to find that out, right?
Well, you know, it's hard to know whether what President Biden did about running or not running is going to affect Kamala Harris's chances. We're going to have to wait until the ballots come in tonight. But it did give former President Trump an opportunity to attack her and also, you know, to attack the Democrats and also to pivot to attack the Democrats for getting a duly elected nominee out of the race.
Yeah.
And really, if you think back at what we've seen transpire over the past 107 days, as you pointed out, are really two very different campaigns.
You know, you're absolutely right. As you recall, and we've reported extensively, Trump's campaign was a campaign that played on people's fears of inflation and immigration and the war in the Middle East. Harris tried to be more upbeat, stressing that she had a to-do list, not an enemies list. And I guess we're going to find out tonight if she was able to distance herself from Joe Biden and his negatives.
Or maybe a week from now, or two. We'll see.
I think you and I have a bet about that.
Yeah, we do have a bet about that. Well, we shall see. We'll keep it a secret for now. Marcia Kramer, nobody does it better. Thanks, Marcia.
We'll be seeing more of you later, Marcia.
Yes, we will.
Thank you.